I'm Craig Olson. I'm the director of Peace Valley Nature Center, and this is our deer exclusion area. And why we have this is because inside there, I see it a little bit as almost like a little bit of a Noah's Ark. We're trying to keep our native plants in there protected from the deer, because the deer they love to eat the native plants, but they don't like to eat the invasive plants. And so what we're trying to do is have a little safe spot for them so that the deer don't get to them. And then also on top of that, we're trying to get rid of the invasive plants that are inside there so that people can come and see this is what you should be seeing at the Nature Center, rather than what we have in front of us here, which is what your project is trying to get rid of this Japanese stilt grass. At least, obviously, you're not going to get rid of much of this because it's everywhere. It covers our property. We want to at least try to have an area that has the natives, and try in this little corner over here, we're going to try to get in the next time or two that you're here to try to get rid of this Japanese stilt grass. We had it here about probably 10-15 years ago for the first time, and it took a very short time before it spread, and it's now, as you can see, it really covers so much of our property. It's not only in this spot that we have here off of this trail, but it's really everywhere on the property. The concern that we have is that the animals that live here, because it is an invasive plant, it's not native, the animals that live here are not going to be eating this, which is very true. If they were, then they wouldn't have any problems with food. But the problem is that they won't eat this kind of a plant, and they eat the native plants. But what happens is when you eat the native plants, usually these will be the first things that take over, these invasive plants, because they're very opportunistic. A number of things that we've planted, like I said, they're various trees, shrubs. Some of them that we have here, like arrowwood, is a native. We have some phlox that we're going to be putting in. A lot of different things that are native. Some of the dogwoods, just a lot of variety. Try to do what nature would have done. And then once we plant these plants in here, we're going to be getting rid of, at least over in this corner here, I'm going to be having you get rid of the stilt grass. All right, so the first phase is just simply planting natives. Second phase is going to be, you're going to be taking out in this corner over here a lot of the Japanese stilt grass as much as we possibly can. Other invasives that we've had problems with here have been multiflora rose, which is this one that's right behind us here with all the large prickers on it. And that one was brought over in the 20s from the agricultural department. They thought it would be a great idea to have a natural fence line, and but what they didn't realize is that the birds were going to be eating the berries, and they were spreading the plants everywhere. And what happened too is that none of the animals, again, they weren't eating the branches or the leaves. That's basically the gist of what we're doing here, and I'm really glad you guys are here helping us out, because if we didn't have this help, it would just simply get worse. We would like to try to see our habitat get back to the way it should be. All these different natural communities should be full of native plants and not the invasives.